Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Taiwo Itola. I am the GDG lead for GDG Ibadan. I have my co-organizer, Dapo Ajuwon, here with me on the call, and we want to welcome you to this online conference. Is the last one for the year, 2018. It's been an awesome year. We have had several meetups concentrated on skills, concentrated on developing your skills. We had IO, we had extended, and in all of these, we have concentrated, or we have discussed things around Android, machine learning, web, cloud, and all of that. And we thought that, okay, having all these skills, what other things do we need to have to be better engineers and to have some kind of worth out there when we present ourselves, even in the global space. And this is why this event is coming up at this time. I want to sincerely thank everyone who has taken time to join this call today. We are having some special guests, and of course, one of them have been with us in GDG Ibadan before, and the person of Gokel Basa. He was the actual GDG lead for Ibadan, and he was awesome while he was with us here. And that was one of the reasons why we thought that we should bring him on to take one aspect I know he would do a very good justice to, which has to do with his personal skills and all of that you will need to have as someone who wants to make a difference, as an engineer. Once again, I want to thank everyone joining, and I'm very sure that this will be a very impactful time. You will get to learn a lot from all the speakers that are speaking today, and it's going to be really awesome. One of the targets for GDG Ibadan is to have engineers who are globally recognized. We want to grow as a community. We want to grow together. And one of the things that leadership can give followership is ensuring that everybody is moving at almost the same pace, if not the same pace. That's why we are having this. We want everybody to grow as much as possible, and we want to see people from Ibadan doing great things in the world. And that's why we have brought this event on today. And I'm very sure it's going to benefit someone out there, and we'll sure have testimonies after. All right. Having said that, Dapo would be introducing some of all of the speakers that we have today and what they are doing, what they have done, and what they will be talking about today. And I'm sure you will get to learn a lot from everyone who is speaking today. So stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you. Dapo, over to you.
All right, thank you, Tola. I want to welcome everybody once again. Thanks for joining us, and I believe this is an opportunity to, to learn from top developers. We have the likes of Goke, Funshaw, and Tola that will be presenting today. And starting with our first speaker, that's Adegoke Obasa. So he has been with us for a very long time. Google developer in Ibadan before he moved out of the country. So he'll be talking to us about making waves as a software engineer in the 21st century. So he's going to share the slide. I think maybe after or during, I don't know, but he's going to share the slide and you guys can actually follow along. So, hi, Goke.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Can you hear me?
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thanks.
Really appreciate it.
Yes. I can share slides.
Okay.
And so those that can follow. But I would say a lot of the things I'll be saying, I'll be sharing my experiences. So the slides just adds points. Every other thing will be my experiences.
Okay.
Okay. So do I go ahead?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hello guys. My name is Goke Obasa. I'm a senior software engineer at Delivery Hero. where I do backend engineering, and I work with a team that builds solutions to create amazing takeaway experiences for customers across Foodora, Foodpanda, and online pizza in Europe, Canada, and Asia. I will be sharing like my story with you guys, some of the things I've done this year, and then I'll also be sharing with you like steps that I used to achieve those things, and I also believe can work for you if you follow those steps. So talking about a few things I did this year, I at the beginning of the year, one of the things I said I wanted to do was learn a few technologies and languages. One of them was C++ because I wanted to like do some research work and I felt I needed it. And one of it was also Golang. One of it was Swift for mobile development and iOS development. And basically I was able to achieve all these things this year. And that is what some of the steps I'll be sharing with you. One of the things I also did this year was I moved from mobile engineering, which is what I've been doing before for the past like over a year, earlier prior to August, and I moved to backend engineering from August, which is what I do where I work now. How did I do these things? I'll be sharing these steps, and I believe you can also use them to achieve your goals. So to talk about the key steps, 6 things. First thing is to have a vision or have an idea of where you want to go. I titled this slide getting there from here. That means you are here and you want to get there. How do you go about doing this? And so the very first thing, like I said, is having a vision. The next thing is identify your knowledge gaps. What are the things I don't know? What are the things I don't know? It's very important to know where the gaps are and what you need to learn. Also, plan. Said without planning, that there is no failure is inevitable usually because planning is very important. Take action. After you plan, it's not enough to plan and just sit down. You need to take action. You need to review regularly and say, okay, based on what I've done, am I hitting my targets? Am I moving forward? Or do I need to change my strategy or do I need to do something else? Then also, finally, you need to iterate. Iteration basically means that go over what you've done before and say, okay, this approach that I'm going through, does this approach make sense? If this approach doesn't make sense, maybe I should change my approach. Maybe I should find a new way of doing this thing. Maybe I should approach some people. And this is very important. So I'm just going to start with the very first one, having a vision. So like I said, you need to understand where you are. So at the beginning of the year, I knew I didn't know Go. I knew I didn't know Swift. I knew I didn't know iOS development. And I wanted to do iOS development. The only way I can achieve this is by knowing that at this stage, I didn't know those things. That was where I was. But at the end of the year, I wanted to be someone that could build iOS applications. So that is knowing where you are. Knowing where you want to be is saying, at the end of the year, this is a target I want to this is where I want to be. This is where I want to reach. It's very important. Without knowing exactly where you want to be, that means anywhere you can settle. So you need to have an idea of where you want to be. The next thing is to set SMART goals. SMART goals are maybe specific, measurable goals, achievable goals, realistic goals, time-bound goals. And these goals should be across some 3 major areas, which I believe is important. Career, your work goals. So career goals is personal. Work goals is majorly towards the work you're currently doing, wherever you have a full-time job. Then innovation goals means what kind of things do you want to do? Ideas do you want to come up with? What kinds of solutions do you want to provide? And the goal is basically something you will not achieve by just resting. If you
Hello. Hello, okay.
Hi.
yes,
Are you there?
yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
It's like you were skipping at a point.
Okay. How is
Yeah, it's cool now. You can go ahead now.
okay? Yes. So I said, what was the last thing you heard?
I had talking about smart goals, trying to explain smart goals, and
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so SMART goals. You have a career goals, work goals, your innovation goals. Career goals are personal. This is what I want to achieve in my career. This is where I'm going to. This is the direction I'm heading. Then also talking about your career, your work goals. This is what I want to achieve in the current position I am, where I work. Innovation goals is what you want to build solutions you want to profile, initiatives you want to suggest. And I said the goal is something that you will not achieve unless you pay special attention to it. So if something you can achieve without paying special attention, then you don't need to set it as a goal. And an example is that I wanted to learn Golang. At the end of the year, I wanted to be proficient in Golang, or at least be able to build solutions with Golang. So I wrote it down a goal as to learn Golang. If I didn't write it as a goal, I know that it's not something I will achieve unless I pay special attention to it. So that's an example. The next step is identifying knowledge gaps. So what are the gaps? What are the things I don't know? What do I need to learn? It's very easy. Make a list of the concepts you are interested in. Look at the things that you don't know. Read wide, read about those things, then know those tricks and skills that you need to learn to achieve your goal. The next thing is planning. Planning means that you should rank the skills you want to learn in order of priority. How important are they? The impact they will have on your career, on your work goals, on your innovation goals. Then you should select between 3 to 5 of them. Don't pick everything because you cannot do everything. You have to be realistic and do what you really can achieve. Like you said, smart goals are achievable goals. Another thing you do during planning is also review the list of people you follow, publications you follow, newsletters you follow on Twitter, on Medium, on various social networks. Review them. For example, back in the days, I was very, very keen on DevOps. I followed a lot of DevOps newsletters. Over time, I wasn't so much interested in it anymore. Sometimes I unfollow those things because they could be a distraction. When I started to get interested in Swift, I started to look for things around Swift so that every day, that's what I see. And if that's what you see, you tend to learn more about that area. So usually, for example, I used to do J2ME back in the days. I don't need to know about J2ME anymore because it's a dead technology. So I unfollow all those things because it's not relevant to me. I'm not doing Android anymore. I unfollow those things because it's not relevant to me anymore. So that's the a very important step in planning. Then the next thing is taking action. I would like to emphasize this area because it's one area I've really learned a lot this year, is to act on your goals daily. No matter how small it is, even if it's 30 minutes per day, very early in the morning. For example, I spend very early in the morning just learning something, 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how much time I have. I spend 30 minutes maybe learning a course, learning a new skill. If you can spend 30 minutes every day in a week, that's 2 hours, 30 minutes in a week. That's something. At the end of the 2 months, you will notice a remarkable difference in whatever you are learning. Then understand what works for you. So some people, you prefer to learn by online courses. For people prefer videos. Some people prefer books. Just understand yourself and know which one works for you. Don't try to be like someone else. The next thing is to own your learning. So when you are now I'm learning Vue.js. No, I should stop what I'm learning JavaScript and start learning Vue.js. It's not necessary. Just stick to what you learn because there was a thought process behind it. You plan for it. So own your learning, be able to back it up. And it doesn't mean you should be also dogmatic and not be realistic sometimes, but it's very important to not just be rigid, about everything. So you don't end up to have focus rather. So you don't end up being very distracted. So we move on. The next thing is to review. Very important step in anything you do, you need to review. After 1 month, depending on what type of timeline you want to send, after a month, come back to your skills. I have like a document I used to like monitor myself. At the end of this month, I wanted to do this. I go to the document, was I able to do anything? If I want to learn, if it takes me 3 months to learn Golang, and if by November I've not learned Golang, that means I might not be able to achieve it that year anymore. So that means I need to like pay more attention to it or something like that, or maybe change my strategy. So it's important to review yourself regularly. Also ask yourself tough questions. Am I on target? Did I really need this thing? Was it really interesting to me? Is this method working for me? If you find out that maybe you are learning something for 2 months and you can't really retain anything, maybe there is a new approach you should be trying out. Maybe you should try videos. Maybe you should talk to somebody. So that's very important as well. So finally is to iterate. Based on everything you learn about based on your review process, iterate, learn from your mistakes, keep improving, be flexible, change strategies, borrow knowledge from parallel disciplines. If there's something you learn from a language, you should be able to apply it into a new language. It could help you, learn from maybe it might be an interaction with somebody during the day that might help you to solve a problem at night, So try to draw knowledge from different disciplines and link them up together. So that's pretty much the step usually I follow in terms of trying to achieve anything in a year. Planning, very important, taking action, review, and iteration. Next, I'll just talk about a few soft skills that I think are very important based on some of the experiences I've had and that really helping me, and also some things that I'm trying to work on as well. So the very first thing is communication, writing well, speaking well. A tool I recommend for writing is Grammarly. Grammarly is used to like edit your essays, edit your messages, your emails. It can work. You can check it out to be ensure that you are writing properly, because there's no way, no matter how smart you are, if you write an email to somebody or you write a documentation and it has a lot of typographical errors, people are going to think you don't know what you are doing. So, and perception matters. When people perceive that you don't know what you are doing, then they kind of don't believe in whatever solution you're preferring. So try to pay attention to your communication, your speaking as well. Improve on your English. Learning English did not stop in secondary school. You can always go and take another course again and say, okay, I want to learn more English. You can get better at it. There's new concepts. There's some things we don't understand. For example, I don't really understand a lot of figures of speech, and I'm trying to learn more of them because some of those things help you depending on where you find yourself. Body language is very important. If you are talking to somebody and you say, do you like what I'm saying? You say yes, and you do your like this. The person doesn't agree that you like what he's saying because generally folding on the arms is believed to mean that you are not interested in what the person is saying or you are bored. But if you have open palms, like my palms, like you are talking to somebody and your palms are open like this, then the person, okay, maybe this person is quite interested in what I'm trying to say. So there are various different body positions that mean different things. So you need to learn them as well. If you are in a meeting and you are doing this, it might mean you are not interested in what the person is saying. But if you have open arms, the person might be interested in telling you more about what he's working on. So I put a link to a course that I did that really helped me in terms of body language. I highly recommend it. You can take it. It's on Udemy. Another thing is to self-confidence, looking people in the eye. When you're talking to someone, look them in the eye. It doesn't make you, weird. It means you are trying to connect with the person. Look the person in the eye. Speak up, raise your head high. Don't feel timid, and always be confident in yourself. Because if you don't have confidence in yourself, then nobody can, be confident in you as well. So have that confidence. Then another very important soft skill that I think will really help everyone is graph interpretation analytics. What does this mean? So for example, if you are working with solutions, building solutions, then you have to like you do login, you do metrics, and then you need to be able to interpret graphs. So example, some things are deceiving. A good example is if you have an application that has 20 requests per minute rather, 20 requests per minute, 20 RPM, and you are having an error of 50%, which is 10 requests are failing. And you have another application that has 2 million requests per minute, and you have an error of 5%. The application with 5% error actually has more importance because the number of requests is higher. So it's not just about the percentage. You also need to consider the number of requests. So that's something that I'm really learning to do now. Understanding graphs. How do they differ? What does the graph mean? Different graphs, a pie chart. How does a pie chart mean? What does a bar chart mean? How you can, because this is important to be able to articulate your work. This is what I worked on. These are the metrics. Present your metrics. Also be able to present your be able to draw conclusions from visuals presented in a presentation during meetings. You should be able to draw conclusions very fast, not having to ask questions, rather draw conclusions from what you are seeing. That is pretty much soft skills I have to talk about. And I'll also recommend some books. It's in the slides. Effective Engineer is a really helpful book by Edmond Lau. I read it in 2015 and really helped me. I'll recommend it. Another book I'll recommend is The Power of Habits. Power of Habits. Habits are like very important. If you can form good habits, you can virtually take it into any field that you are trying to work in, especially software engineering, where you actually need to do things consistently. Another book that is really helpful is How to Talk to Anyone, Anytime, Anywhere, The Secrets of Good Communication. This is by Larry King and Bill Gilbert. It's a very good book where you can connect to anybody, anywhere. You can strike up a conversation in a meeting, in a restaurant, during a dinner party, during events, and etc. Then also, Who Moved My Cheese? Who Moved My Cheese is basically about challenging status quo, not being so rigid about yourself, being ready to regularly make a change and say, okay, this is the way I've been doing something, but maybe there's a better way to do it. Maybe I can switch to doing things this new way. So that is pretty much what I have. I'll be ready to answer questions during the questions and answer sections. And you can also reach out to me on Twitter at Goki if you have more questions that I won't be able to answer. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you, Goki. Wow, that's so much. Because I've been writing so, and I'm actually so impressed. And hello, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying. You can just drop question on our Twitter page at GDG Ibadan. and we won't be taking any question now until the end of the top speaker. So the second speaker, that's Funshaw. Funshaw is a software engineer, and he works remotely, and about generally about remote work in getting remote job and some sites you can actually check to submit application, to submit your CV, and generally contribute to
Hello, Dapo.
us and
Dapo.
comes to remote work and some other soft skills remotely. So I can show. All right. Okay. Yeah. I Tola. I think he's muted.
Okay.
Hi Tola. Hi Tola.
Yeah, I can hear you. Funshaw, are you
Alright.
there?
Yeah, I'm ready. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yes,
you now.
we can hear you.
All
So
right.
you
Can you see me?
yeah, we can see you now. We weren't seeing you before, but now
Yeah.
we can.
All right. Let's just get started. My name is Funshaw Bukwola. I am a software engineer at Oja Express LLC. So what Oja Express does is we provide ethnic groceries for Africans in diaspora. So say by any chance you go to America and you want to eat your local dishes, you can use Oja Express e-commerce platform to order for the ingredients. Excuse me. I also I'm a talent at TopTal, so basically a remote platform that allows you to connect to different organizations across the world. Some of the best workplaces across the world, actually. So I'm going to be taking us through what it means to work remotely, how to work remotely, what the perks are, what the perils are, why you might want to work remotely, why you might not. Is it good for you? And I'm going to also talk about what to do to get remote jobs, especially from Nigeria. And yeah, I'm just going to dive right into it. So Oja Express is in the United States. I work with TopTal. My current engagement is in Malaysia. So that gives you an idea of what remote job can afford you. You can literally break the barriers of your location. So I think one of the motivations that is top for me to give to you is you can do beyond the limits of where you are born or where you currently reside. So that's one of the motivations. You can work anywhere across the world that you like. You can be a part of some of the best workplaces across the world. You can be flexible. You can decide to live anywhere you like. So apart from the fact that you can get job anywhere in the world, you can decide to move and live anywhere you like. You can be nomadic if you like to travel the world. That's a plus for some people. You can be flexible. Your work hour can be different. For instance, I work typically because of the difference in time zone. For my total engagement, I work like 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. max. That's like you can finish your work before other people in your country wake up. And if you like that, you can enjoy that. So you can be global. You can go beyond your locality. You can explore companies around the world, because one of the things that internet and technology has done mostly for us is nobody really cares where you come from or who you are, as long as you can get the job done. So it's an easy platform for you to distinguish yourself. And I think the fact that you can work without having to move to those physical locations already give you some great opportunities. I don't want to be oblivious of the fact that you can actually work remotely locally. Like you can be in Nigeria, you can live in Nigeria, you can work for a company in Nigeria. That's awesome. That gives you some perks to you overcome the issues of traffic. You don't have to be in transit every day. An average Lagosian probably spend, I tell them that they probably have two jobs. Your first job is to commute, and then your second job is to actually do the job that you're being paid for. So people spend 4 to 6 hours in traffic, which is almost like a full-time job. Sorry, a part-time job for some other people. Like I've said, you can earn more regardless of your location, whether you're in the Middle East, you're in Africa, you're whatever continent, you can earn as much as your other colleagues in other places. So if you're being strategic, as I would think you should be, you can work in the countries with the best economy, say the United States of America with a very strong economy. You can work there, earn their salary, like what people that live there worth, and then you can live in a country with low cost of living. So that's maximum economics for you. If you spend less and you earn as much as the highest paid people, then you can maximize your savings and profit. That's a little part. And then your growth is in your end. You can control your growth. You can decide where you want to work. So it's basically like a buffet. They give you the opportunity to work anywhere in the world in any capacity that you want, and then you choose where you want to work. You have to be able to do the job. That's the only thing that is required of you. The only thing that is required of you is your competence. And then once you certify that you can get the job done, you can basically do anything. It's more like you have numerous choices, and that's much of a blessing as a curse. I'll talk about that later. So, like I said, your destiny is in your end. You don't have to face office politics. You don't have to struggle with people, and then you have to understand yourself too. For me, I don't work best in a crowded place. I cannot be super productive in an open office, for instance. I would have to be extra focused to be super productive in an open office. But, working remotely allows me to control my office. I design my office. I choose where to work, how to work, and where to sit or whether to lie down. You can have such, but in bigger offices, you can have that too. So that's not to say that. So just understand yourself. If you prefer to work in the company of people, even while you're working remotely, you can get a co-working space, and then you can work in the midst of people. So I'm going to talk about some of the situations. I've talked about some of the perks. I'm going to talk about some of the quote-unquote disadvantages. Liberty comes at a cost. There is no vacuum in governance. If you're not in an office where somebody is breathing down your neck and be like, have you got that work done? Then that means you must be able to govern yourself. So if nobody's going to be around you, nobody's going to be waiting on you for job to get done, then you must be self-motivated. You must be able to get things done without being chased. That's one of the costs. You are your own manager. And because you don't have an office with the company that you're working with, you manage your own office. You're your own office manager. You provide equipment for your own office. You provide internet for your own office. You provide electricity for your own office. So all of your office problems are personal problems. So that's one of the things that you have to consider. You have to be able to provide these things. If you think it's not comfortable for you, you might want to work in an office instead. And there is the imbalanced work life. If you work from home, my bed is on my back. I can wake up right from sleep and jump into code and do nothing else and go back to sleep in the night. And then I will be a wreck. I'll only be working, say, 18 hours a day. And then I will not see anybody. I have no family, I have no friends. So the work-life balance might be skewed towards work if you work remotely. The reverse is also possible, because your bed is right there, your house is right there, your TV is there. You can decide to watch TV all day and not work. So you have to be self-disciplined. So I think that one of the greatest things that working remotely has demanded from me is the self-will, the ability to control myself, to control my gratifications and be like, we don't watch TV right now, we have to work. That's one of the things. And then you can be available for just anything. People can think that because you don't go to work, and then you might have free time more than others because you don't do transit. And that might mean that you want to put your neck in every startup that gets interested in you, and you're going to get yourself killed that way. And then if you need so much hand-holding, if you need people to hand-hold you, you need them to check on you, you need them to check what you're doing every second, you might not want to work remotely, because if you're working remotely, you have to be able to get things done with the least amount of supervision. So if you know that you're still at entry level, or you're still struggling, or you need a senior person to stand behind you and point you what to do, then you might want to consider working in an office for now before you move on remotely. So I'm going to talk about two phases of remote work that I am familiar with from my experience. I'm not going to teach you theories. So I think there was a phase of pursuit, struggle, and then becoming, where basically what I was trying to do, what I was trying to do in that phase of my life was I was trying to put my foot at the door. I was trying to get recognized. I was trying to get jobs. That phase of your life, you don't want to prioritize making money. You want to get yourself known. You want to get your brand known. You want to get someone to trust you with the job that you're supposed to do. You don't really have so much of a portfolio. And then, so that's the first phase. If you want to work remotely and you're just starting out, you might have to pursue. You have to brand the best resume that you can dream of. You have to talk to people that have gone beyond you. You have to cast your net very wide. You have to chase several opportunities. And then that's just you pursuing. And then when you have obtained the first opportunity for you to work remotely, you have to earn it. That might come with some struggles. You want to prove your worth. You want to prove that you decide what you've got. It's a different case for someone that had completed 5 applications and then got a remote job to do another one, and then you can just freestyle. But because you're starting afresh, you don't have street cred. Whatever that means. You don't have much credibility, and you just want to earn your mark at that point. So you might struggle. It's perfectly fine. Most people struggle. You might be in an environment that you're not comfortable with. Finding balance working from your home might actually be difficult for you. Finding balance talking to people that you might never see in your life might be difficult for you. Finding the balance, just leading yourself, coming to the fact that you are responsible for your destiny might be difficult for you. But eventually, after you pursued, you get an opportunity, you struggle to earn your mark, you become. And then the becoming doesn't mean you become static. You just earn the first badge. You can get something done at least. There are a few things that can be trusted to you. And then the second phase is what I think is branding, attraction, and sustaining. So after you've done like one of these jobs successfully, or you've like stayed 4 months, and then nobody needs to look around you, nobody needs to handhold you any longer, you might become, you have to start to brand yourself. You have to start to, because if you're working remotely, one of the tendencies is that you want to become an independent contractor. And if you want to be an independent contractor, one of the challenges is you want to think of how is this job going to keep coming? If people are going to be contacting you like for the job, and if they want to consult with you, then they have to be able to trust you. They have to be able to know what you are all about. They have to be able to recognize your expertise. So you might begin to brand yourself. You might begin to write articles, contribute to the open source, talk more, become a thought leader. And then by doing so, because people are aware of what you're made of, you attract opportunities. And then once you attract opportunities, the biggest part is actually sustaining them. If people have trusted you, this applies as much as the second phase and the first phase. I don't know what phases are beyond this, because I'm just at the second phase. I'm trying to build a brand, attract opportunities, and sustain them. Sometimes you attract opportunities that are bigger than what you've been through before. That is perfect, because you need to grow. So part of growth is doing something that is a little bit bigger than you, but not entirely bigger than you, like not entirely out of your turf, but you can manage to pull it through. How to look for remote jobs? I'm going to say that possibly there are a variety of remote job. I know that GitHub gives remote opportunities for developers. I know that there are companies like Van Ark that are also willing to allow you relocate. I know that there are companies that are looking to recruit in Africa. I got contacted by someone in Kenya, say they start a Andela-ish kind of company where you can work remotely for companies outside. But the only platform that I've tried and that I trust is TopTal. So I think if you check TopTal out, what TopTal does is there is numerous clients abroad, across the world that are their clients, and then you can get an opportunity to work with any one of them that you like on any of the projects that is challenging to you or that you find interesting. So I'm also going to talk about what I think are going to be challenges. I think one of the main thing that you have to just cross is the interviews. If you're looking for a remote job, if you get an interview, you must have done a good job. So that means that I am implying that you've had a good resume, and then you've made a good impression on the application, on the job applications that you submitted, and they deemed it fit to invite you for an interview. But I've noticed that most people actually got dropped at the interview phase is more than the amount of people that actually scale through. And one of the major things that makes people drop off is algorithms and data structures. There are people that are really good. I know that writing the app, doing the coding, that is not their problem. They can do the coding, they can write the app, they can build excellent infrastructures. But if you cannot pass that preliminary data structure and algorithm test, you are not going to be trusted. They are not going to trust you to build systems. And you can fight it all you want, you can argue about it all you want. If you don't pass it, you're not going anywhere. So I think that part of the thing that you need to do is to practice algorithm and data structure. They want to see whether you can do automated testing, because two major things that most of the remote companies do is to test that you understand algorithms and data structure, and then you can build a decent application. And decent application, they want to look for your automated testing. They want to look for the understanding of processes. They want to look for the ability to deliver working solution within an agreed upon frame of time. And so sustaining the job, if you get the job, if you're lucky to get the job, the pay would be good. I can almost assure you that, especially if you get jobs outside of Nigeria, you'll be paid you'll be rewarded handsomely. So how do you sustain this job? Communicate. Communication is key. One of the things that communication does is, because on a platform like TopTal, they allow you to choose your salary. You tell them how much you're worth. You tell them how much you want to earn. So one of the things is, evaluating yourself. How much do you think you're worth? How much do you think you should earn? And then communicating effectively. The only way they are going to, after reading your resume, after going through the work that you've done before, after going through your portfolio, the only thing that they're going to do next is to talk to you. They want to know what you've done. They want to ask you if you can do what they want done. Because people that bring in other engineers for remote work are looking for something that contributes to their team. They are not looking for freelancers. Working remotely is different from working from freelancing, where you just get a project and then you complete it and then you deliver. Most of these companies integrate you into their company team, and then you work with them as though you're a lateral hire, like you're already in the same room with them. So there are companies that do that mix match. There are people that work on ground, and then there are remote workers. There are companies that are fully remote. There are companies that are partially remote, like in Nigeria. They can allow you to come to work 3 days in a week, and then you can stay at home 2 days in a week. So communication is key, especially because they can't see you. Sometimes you might have to communicate in text. You might have to write words. Sometimes you might be working with people that are not in the same time zone as you. So imagine the scenario that the person that you're working with is 7 hours ahead of you. While you're sleeping, this person is at work. And then the person hit a blocker, say your API is not working. And then they left you a message because you're still asleep. When you wake up, they are gone from work. You have to explain to them, they have to explain to you what went wrong. And if they don't communicate effectively, you both lose a day of work, because it doesn't understand what is not working. You don't understand what is not working. You both cannot agree to meet at the same time because you have different time zones. So communication is effective. You have to be able to articulate what you mean in technical terms. You have to be able to say what you think is wrong. You have to be able to describe your scenarios perfectly, sometimes in video calls too. So that's one of the most important skills that I think can help you keep your job. And then the other one is managing expectation. I cannot go through all of them now. But I think if you can communicate well and you can manage expectations well, you can earn yourself one of the best level of regards that is out there. If you communicate yourself well and then you manage expectation management is don't tell someone that work is going to be done tomorrow when the work can actually take a week. So, and if the work can take a week, you probably want to add a day or two just for error checking. So that they can trust you that if you say that the work is going to be done in a week, they can rely on you that it's going to be done in a week. Because as the number of wrong estimations emerge or grow, then your value reduces. That's just the way it works, especially between amidst your teammates and co-workers, and if you're working remotely and your evaluation is being done almost on a daily basis. Let me see, what are the other things? I think that my time is up. I'm just going to wrap up now and wait till the question and answer period and try to attempt to answer your questions. The other thing is, I know for a fact that you might not be ready to start working remotely if you're not ready to stand on your own and be able to lead yourself. So I think that I have been able to talk you through some of the scenarios that are involved in working remotely, and then how to get into working remotely, what the challenges are, what the requirements are, what you should prepare yourself with. And then the income varies. It just depends on how much you're worth and how much you think you're worth. Those two things are very important. You have to be worth something first so that you don't overestimate yourself. And then you have to be able to determine your own value so that you don't underestimate yourself. I think that's just all you need. It's very easy to work remotely. And you're welcome, more than welcome to join the team of people that work remotely. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Funsho. That was very expository. That was, I actually learned from that too. It was a time of learning for me. And I want to thank you for sharing your thoughts on working remotely. And I appreciate you for that. Questions will come after my own session. I guess that what we're supposed to introduce me now is off the call. So I will just continue. So I'll be speaking. My topic was originally landing your dream job in 2019, but I'm going to tweak that topic a little. I'll be talking briefly because of our time. We are supposed to end by 5, but we'll be shooting out a bit. So I'll be talking briefly on you can make your skills pave ways for you. I'll be sharing the slides after my speech, so you can get to see some of the things again and again, and you can learn from it. While I was preparing for this, these are things I learned from myself, and I believe it's going to help someone out there too. Okay. First thing is, most software engineers think, okay, I'm supposed to solve people's problem. People bring problems to me. I solve it. I get my money, and I'm happy I did what they want, and it's working quite fine. Yes, that's fine. That's basic, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing absolutely wrong with that. But I am going to be sharing some of the things that we need to know to give ourselves other opportunities and to attract other opportunities our way. Take for example, you work with a company that has a product. All that you do basically is you work around that product. You probably need to add new features. You need to scale a particular part to ensure that requests are effective, or you want to there are new things to be done. All of these are centered around that very product that company has. So you don't get to do other things. So basically what I'm emphasizing is there are other things that can bring in other opportunities for you. You can begin to want to consider writing. You can begin to want to consider learning new things. You can begin to want to consider creating projects. So I'm going to be sharing with us now 5 deliberate ways to open up opportunities for yourself in the tech space. Okay. First thing that you can overemphasize is being good at what you do. You need to be very good at what you do. You don't think that you are good. You have to actually be good, because what you do, actually tells people about how far you can go and how much you can do. So you have to be, first of all, be good at what you do. Push for more. It only makes you better. Okay. And the second thing you can do to open up opportunities for yourself is create projects. Aside of what you do on a daily basis, you can think of think of a problem, profile solutions to it. Have so many of them like that. You discover that at the times when opportunities present themselves, you have a whole lot of options to choose from, and to say that I've been a part of this, I've done this, I've done this, and I've done that. These are things that projects can do for you. So the number three thing, I'm kind of rushing because of time, is to announce your progress. You need to announce your progress, tell a friend about what you're doing. You never can tell how that would bring in opportunities for you. By the time you tell a friend that I've been able to learn HTML or CSS, or I can now use Node very well, I can build web service very well now, that person would probably meet someone that needs all of these skills and would recommend you. And you never can tell how big that opportunity can be. So these are things that you need to do. You need to announce it. Don't keep quiet about the things that you're doing. So if you are learning new skills, express it. Let people know that you're doing it. That is how opportunities can come and come in. I know friends. I've been in the last 1 year. I've been opportunity to meet friends that they because of what they do and because they are good. I also emphasize being good at what you do, because they are good at what they do. They have been referred to wonderful opportunities that are making them live well today. So you never can tell how announcing your progress in the software engineering space can bring in opportunities for you. The number three thing, or the number four thing that you need to also keep track of is keep up with the latest technologies. For example, you use Laravel, and there is a new release of Laravel, maybe 5.6, and maybe you have been using Laravel since it was Laravel 3.0. Because of the way technologies emerge, and the way technology changes, there are a lot more better ways. Most of these improves, most of these new updates make sure that things are done in a better way. Things are done more easily than when it's how it used to be before. So and your employers are looking for people that can do things that are in conformation with what is obtainable today. So you don't want to do things the old way it has always been done. You want to do it the way it is presently. So you have to keep up with the updates in the technologies that you use. All right. So I have a quote here. There's no short way to it. Having an intention to do something is not the same as swinging into action. So always you have to get your hands dirty. You have to get your hands dirty and make sure that you are improving your skills. All right. So going to my topic in major now, landing your dream jobs in 2019. The first thing I would say is if you have a dream job, then you also have to consider that you want to work with certain companies around the world. And one of the things that you want to look out for is looking at the workplace, like the kind of place you want to work with. You want to check their values. You want to check what are they interested in, what do they do there? Is it in line with what I want to do? Do they do things that I am interested in myself? These are questions you need to ask. So you can also, there are a lot of opportunities, there are a lot of companies looking for software engineers on LinkedIn. You can look them up, check their sites, read their values, read their mission statement. What are they doing? What products do they have? Is it something that you're interested in? If you have done all of this, then you can decide, okay, yes, I want to work for this company. And then the number two thing you want to check is their culture. And then you want to also thirdly find out the technology stack that they use. Are they using Node.js? Do I know how to use Node.js? These are questions you need to ask yourself. So if you need to brace up on some of these technologies, you can do that while you find out about this company. So first thing is identify the kind of company you want to work with. That's the first step to landing your dream jobs. Number two, which is extremely important, is creating your resumes and cover letters. You want to ensure that you have a good resume. And this is very important in the sense that, okay, for example, you have people who are, applying for a position as a junior front-end engineer. And the first thing you see on their resume is, I have taught computational representation in one secondary school in one village in Akwa Ibom State. It is very, very relevant to the position you are applying to. So you want to ensure that you have experiences, you have a list of experiences that are relevant to the position you are applying to. For example, okay, now if take for example you don't have any experience at all, but what an employer wants to see in you is that potential. Have you learned HTML? Do you know CSS? Have you worked around Less or SAS? Do you have a page that you have created for yourself? Do you have a link to it? What are the things that you have done yourself? Given that you have not worked anywhere or worked for anyone before, you have to sell yourself with things that you have done on your own. That was why I mentioned the other time that you need to get your hands dirty. You need to practice. And while Boke was speaking to, he also mentioned that you need to improve your skills. Like he gave an example of how he started learning Golang and Swift. Same for me. Early this year, I started learning Laravel. I learned JS. These were things that I never knew before this year started. When the beginning of this year, I chose to learn them because I wanted to start using them for the company I worked for then. So you need to be able to know that, okay, yes, these are the experiences. Tell your experiences right, and you would be able to get interviews. Of course, number two thing is, what are your own interests? What are the interesting projects you have been involved in? You need to highlight that very well too. Highlight some of the interesting projects you have done or you have been part of. These are things that would also sell you very well to your employer. Okay. And then the skill session is also very important. Highlight skills that are relevant to the position you are applying for. And of course, you want to ensure that the skills that you are highlighting is makes your employer know that you are best fit for that position. For example, you don't apply as a back-end engineer, and all that you are projecting as your skills are things that are relating with front end. Of course, nobody will call you back to for an interview in such scenario. So you need to highlight the skills that are relevant. Even if you are a full stack person, you need to highlight skills that portrays you as a full stack person. But if you are trying to concentrate on one particular thing or one particular area, like front end, you need to highlight skills that are in line with front end development. Okay, let me rush down now. Okay, so for technical, of course, when you actually now have a good resume, you'll be called for interviews, and you'll be tested on certain things. They call it technical screens. And of course, like Funshaw mentioned some, I will also highlight, just run through a few. You'll find them on my slides. I think I explained some of them too. You can find them on the slide because I'm rushing for time. You want to go through arrays. For technical screens now, you want to brush through arrays, matrices, binary trees, linked lists, backtracking, dynamic programming, and bit manipulation. Those are areas that you want to focus on. Of course, algorithms. Algorithm is one thing I keep doing because I feel like I've not I'm not where I need to be yet. I do it every day. I write algorithms every day. Recently, I'm not shy to say this, actually took some tasks, some algorithm tasks recently, and I timed myself. Do you know I couldn't get any of the algorithms? This means that I need more practice. I need to know, I need to do more. So in 1 hour, I couldn't solve 3 algorithms. So which means that you can think that you're there already, but you are not there. So keep practicing algorithms, and then you need to focus on the areas I've highlighted in the slides. I will share the link after this speech. You want to work around linked lists, binary trees, matrices, arrays, and dynamic programming. So these are some of the areas where you can be screened on technical interviews. And then if you're a backend engineer, you might also want to look at system design interviews. They want to know how good you are in maybe probably scaling applications and all of that. I shared some resources that can be helpful with that on the slide, and that will be all from my end. And I would welcome any question that we might have on this event today. Thank you very much. Takbo.
Sorry, my router went off one time, so I had to just restart. Sorry about that.
No problem.
All right, thank you. I actually missed few of your talk, but I was actually following on YouTube before I got access here on Hangout. So thank you so much, Tola. And for sure, thank you. I really appreciate. I really appreciate on behalf of GDG Ibadan. Then moving down to Q&A, question and answer session. I have some questions here. I have like 3 questions here that I'm going to ask. Though I got some from YouTube. I think I got some from YouTube, and I have some personal questions too to ask. So my first question goes to Funsho. Hello, Funsho, can you hear me? To yeah, I believe they are for everybody. Okay,
Yeah,
I have like okay, all right, thank you for sure. I okay, you talked about working remotely. You talked about communication skill. Talking about feedback, which are very very important in working remotely. So I just want us to be practical enough because it's just about real life. You say you're not giving us theory, you're giving us real life experience, and according to what I read about you and what Tola told me. So okay, so I want to ask this question. I believe people benefit. I mean, Google GDG Ibadan developers will benefit from this question. So I want to ask, what's the moment in your life that you realize that you're ready for this for remote job? Okay, and I will ask you why. I asked that question because I know we're on Twitter and we follow a lot of top developers on Twitter,
yeah.
and there's a particular tweet by, I don't know if I should mention the name, by CEO of NairaBet, that's Tumba Adeyinka. I've forgotten his name.
Okay.
Okay, he said some Nigerian developers.
I think his network is bad or something.
Maybe it's just trying to, maybe I don't know what's trying to say there, but it said that Nigerian developers, they are underemployed, that they are not employable. Okay, I from your own perspective, is that true? Do you think that's true? And do you think some are really and to top, I believe you have, just like you said, you have to manage your light, you have to manage your electricity, your light, your internet, your space, and so many things involved. So I want you to tell us some things you think you had before you started, and just something real life. Okay, I don't know if you get the question.
Yeah, I think I understand the question. I think what you're trying to ask is at what point would you be say you're ready to work without with the least monitoring, with the least supervision, so that you can be able to deliver as expected. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Thank
So to be realistic and to not try to drop 7 items that you have to check before you can be ready, when I started my first job, remote-ish, I wasn't ready. So someone took a chance on me, and that was Campe. I was not a noob. I mean, I know stuff, but I've not built a production application before. And here was I brought in to refactor an existing health care platform. I mean, there were doctors and there were patients, and you have to take patients' question anonymously and send to doctors and get the answers and reward the doctors and pay them, stuff like that. That was production environment. And I was prepared. I knew all the basics. I knew about server management. I knew about databases. I knew my PHP. I had a Yi framework that I was going to use. I knew what the standard application should look like. So those are like, you don't go to a job that you don't know the basics. You have to be confident enough. So you should. So the checkpoint is not that you have done this project before. You don't especially need to have done that project before. I mean, I don't like taking projects that I've done before because it looks boring to me. It just looks like I'm doing the same thing over and over again. So, but you need to have a strategy. You need to have done something similar before. You need to be confident. I think that one of the most important things is actually the confidence. Can you do it? Do you believe you can do it? Do you have all the bits and pieces? And then before that, I had spent about 6 months of my IT in webmetrics units in OAU, just building apps, doing nothing else. I mean, we never actually shipped that application, but we worked on it and then we played around with the server accesses that were given to us. And we had great tutors. We had Koke and Yemi, we had Boye, we had Caleb, we had people that had done production applications that taught us. So I think that ground prepared me. It was more like preliminary. More, I can say that given that scenario, I had worked in an office that deployed production application, but I had not done one on my own. So you need that level of confidence to start, and you need someone to take a chance on you, especially if you don't have a track record before then. So I didn't have a track record, and then the co-founders of Campo just contacted Dami Akapo, and then Dami said, given his experiences and interaction with me, he thinks I can do it, and I believed in myself, and then, I gave it a shot. But that's one of the phases that I mentioned. I talked about the phase where you pursue, you struggle, and then you become. So that was my phase of pursuit. I mean, I chased Dami down when he posted that on Facebook. Long live Facebook. I don't use Facebook anymore. I posted that on Facebook, and then I sent him my resume, and then I got the job, and I had to struggle to become. So I think that it's going to be a struggle at the first stage. So the problem is that the person that complained on Twitter, he was expecting to employ professionals. He was expecting to employ people that had been doing the work steadily for for many years. And then he was not ready to manage them. So one of the things that I tell people that are in places of in positions of management is, if you hire very smart people, you have to scintillate their curiosity. You have to be able to manage their curiosity. You have to be able to manage their exploratory tendencies. So for instance, let me give you an instance. If you hire someone that has not done the production application before, what tends to happen is they start with a particular technology that they think is going to be great. And then in the middle of the job, they discover a fancier way of doing it. And then they want to switch from what they are doing now to a fancier way of doing it. And that way the job is never going to be done, because a new version of Laravel is going to always come out, say like twice in a year. You get the analogy. So I think that what most people lack is leadership. If you're going into a company that you're going to be the only one and you have not done a production application before, it's safer not to do that. I think it's unwise for whoever is bringing you on board to actually bring you on board, unless they can ultimately trust you. So the leverage that I had was that Damilola Akapo was there for me to call if I run into trouble. So I had a fallback plan. Do you understand? So if you have such a fallback plan, and I don't know, personality also matters. There are people that really just cannot, they don't like doing stuff by themselves. Do you know that Jeff Dean, one of the senior Google fellow, did not like writing code all by himself? He was always pair programming. There was a New York Times article that was released, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. So he had this friend of his that was an Indian, I guess. He would be the one writing the code, and then Jeff Dean would probably just prop his legs on the table and then he would be pointing fingers. There are people that work that way. And if you think that you need supervision, you need people to always ask you, have you done the login feature today? Have you done as you expected today? You can't work remotely yet. I think that's an indication that you might not be able to work remotely yet. So one of the tests is like one of the tests that TopTal does to screen people is they give you a project that has a front end and a back end, and then they expect you to complete it in 2 weeks. And nobody communicates with you in 2 weeks, and you have to get the job done. So if you can do stuff like that, then that might be a positive sign that you can do it. And then the second phase is, if you're more than one, then you might have communication issues. You might not be ready if you are not able to communicate your ideas correctly. So here's what I mean. For a beginner to tell me, to explain an API error to me might be difficult. You might just say that, I'm sorry, like on Slack, you might tell me, I'm sorry, this thing is not working. Do you know how unhelpful that message is? It's not working. What exactly is not working? Give me something descriptive. Give me something that I can work with. Have you tried getting a log? What exactly is the log error message? What scenario? What page did you went to? What endpoint did you call? What parameters did you pass? Do you understand? So
Yeah.
if you don't understand all those basics, it might be a pain for you to come on board. But here's the plus. Here's the good part. If you're joining a small company, they might not be able to afford you. You know, they can't be paying for someone that they would depend on another senior fellow on to and old. But if you're joining a bigger company, they can invest in you. They can say, okay, you know what, this person is going to be your buddy for the next 1 month. And then he's going to train you on how to do this and how to do that. So it's only a big company that they start making philosophical statements like, we don't really need the skills. We need the will. We need the interest. We need the ability to learn. That's all philosophical and sweet. But if you're working within a tight budget and you're in a small company, you really cannot afford that. And they just tell you, sorry, you know, we don't think you're a good fit. So I think those are the indications. Can you complete a project without being hounded, without someone sitting on your neck? Can you work with least supervision? I think that was the first point. And then, do you feel comfortable working on your own? Do you have a fallback plan? Do you have someone that you can refer to if things go south? You know, those are the. But I think that generally, to like answer your question effectively, the person that was at an outrage on Twitter just did not hire the right people, and probably were also trying to cut costs. Because here's the thing, Nigeria, there are companies that want to give you an application to build for ₦1 million. And frankly, ₦1 million cannot build that project. But because ₦1 million is so much of a money in Nigeria, they think that, you know, it's ineffective for you not to be able to complete that project in that timeline. But ultimately, people that I've worked with in Nigeria come up with unrealistic timeline, as if you have nothing else doing with your life. The only thing you're going to do is to build that. And if you're going to have a tight budget and you want it done in a short period, what you need is people that have done this exact project before, that can go into their repertoire, bring in something that they've used before that worked well, and then in short time, they can customize it for you. But if you want to build something genuinely, like authentically different, and then you bring people that are at the beginning level or intermediate level, then you're going to have problem because they're going to need more time to perfect their trade, and they're going to need more money. Thank you.
I really understand, and that was so helpful. Thank you, Funcho.
Yeah, you're
All
welcome.
right, hi guys, and yeah, actually react and I don't know. I still have like I Tola. All right, so I still have like one question, but I don't know if Tola is gonna permit me to ask a question, or we just round up the program and okay. Sorry, I missed you. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Now, okay. Let me continue because the goal of this online conference is to number one, we want to we brought the speakers to talk to you about communication, talk to you about how to get a remote job and how to get your dream job in 2019. And Goke talked about communication, Funsho talked about remote job, and building your CV, building your resume, and getting your dream job in 2019 and the process, checking LinkedIn, TopTal, Van Ark, all these platforms. And we want this conference to bridge in you. Like we want it to be practical enough. Actually asking openly, I've not asked this question. I've not asked Funsho. I know Funsho can hear me, and Goke and Tola can hear me. So I know of junior devs here or intermediate devs that they maybe I don't know, maybe they're ready to go into the labor market and just sort for job and go full time into their career, and maybe they're having problem with maybe writing their resume rather and how to arrange their resume. So I don't know if Okay, Funsho and Tola. I don't know if at least maybe 5 slots each. So junior devs here, check their resume, help them a little. I'm asking for 5 each. So total of 15. You guys, 5. Tola will take resume. Nothing more, nothing less. You can actually help with that. So with that. Hello. Hi
Oh
Tola.
yes,
Okay, all right. So go first.
yeah,
What do
yeah.
you think?
Absolutely. I mean, if you can forward your CVs, I'll be happy to review for you. I review CVs for people. I reviewed quite a couple over the course of the year, and I still even for people that I don't know before. So just forward your CVs, write the message, give it some time, please.
Okay.
Don't do like maybe you need your CV tomorrow or in 1 hour's time and send to me. I might not be able to meet that timeline, but if you give me at least something around the week, I should be able to revert and just give you mention some things that I feel can be improved on the CV. Yes, I'll be happy to do that.
Wow. Thank you. So I consider you guys so lucky, like senior engineer reviewing your CV, talking to you about think you can manage 5, like up 5 developers to review their CV. What about Funshaw?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Goki has taught me how to review CV. So I'll just say put it on Google Drive so that the feedbacks can be easily
Sorry.
communicated.
Okay. Okay. Um thank you guys. I know Fortola is a yes, he doesn't have any choice. He's a GDG Ibadan lead, I believe. So I think that was all for now. And when it comes to, there's a way they can actually communicate. You're on Twitter. We can share your link, your Twitter link on our own WhatsApp page. So we have over 256 GDG developers on our WhatsApp page, and they can directly communicate with you. Maybe there, if you want WhatsApp, if you want email, if you want maybe Twitter to send their CV, the link to their CV, they can actually do that. So I will communicate directly to you behind the camera on how they can actually get their resume across to you guys. So, okay, really appreciate for sure on behalf of GDG Ibadan. Really appreciate. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you for everything. And Tola, thank you so much
Thank you for having
for
me.
joining us. I really appreciate.
Thank
Any last
you.
okay? Any last thing you want to say about planning 2019 advice for developers, for GDG developers, for junior to intermediate? Real quick.
I think it's very simple. The future is the most interesting thing because nothing is set in stone. So how it will be at the end of the year in 2019 is a blank check. So you can do absolutely, but the earlier the better. So the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. So they say the next best time is now. So just start acting immediately on what you need to do. Then definitely, I'm sure you will not be at where you are exactly today if you start doing something. Yeah. Thank you guys for organizing the conference and thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Funshaw, the last word, please. Real quick for this conference. Advice for junior developers, intermediate developers, for 2019.
Um, I think that what I'll just say is, as Koki has said in his lecture, you should try to set goals and don't try to just follow the trend. And I think that I see that mostly when people are trying to get jobs, they just want to apply for just about anything. Don't do that. Identify what you want to do and let that lead you in the right direction instead. And also, I would say become before you brand. People brand and they talk about things they can actually not do. They've not developed expertise in. And then when the opportunity comes, they flop. Don't do that, especially as you're just starting out. Become first and then let the branding follow. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Funshaw. Really appreciate it. Tola. Hi, Tola. Maybe you still can hear me. Okay, all right, okay, cool. So, on behalf of GDG Ibadan, lead Stola and myself, co-lead, we wish you a Merry Christmas in advance and a more prosperous New Year. Thank you. We love you. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
guys.
Bye, bye. I am passing over here.